Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Today is an important day for Gonzaga University and Gonzaga Athletics, which has become such a significant expression of our university's presence in the higher education community. Since 1887, when the Society of Jesus first founded Gonzaga here in Spokane, the university has been educating its students to serve in the many professions and to lead and to serve in their communities. Aspiring to educate the whole person, Gonzaga has always sponsored sports and has a long and storied tradition of athletics excellence that dates back over a century. Over the past 24 years, Gonzaga Athletics has been blessed with the leadership of an individual who first was hired to assist in coaching basketball and then returned to serve as assistant AD and director of our then newly renamed and renovated Charlotte Y. Martin Center. Following a decade in this role, then President Harry Sladich in 1997 asked him to take the helm as AD at what truly became another inflection point for Gonzaga Athletics. From that point until this, Mike Roth has never looked back. Continually focused on the question of how athletics can do better, Mike has championed the goal of excellence and the cause of continuous improvement, starting always with student-athlete welfare and the enriching of the experience for our student-athletes. Success for student-athletes involves creating the kinds of interactions, environments, and experiences that will enable our students to be successful academically and as contributing members of the community, as well as athletically. A communal effort involving not only coaches and athletic staff, but our faculty and many colleagues from across the university and even the local region. Coaches, of course, play a pivotal role in the success of not only programs, but individual student athletes. Mike's work at identifying, attracting, and retaining incredible personnel is a hallmark of his leadership and an essential part of building excellence. Of course, a critical part of the success of not only athletics, but the entire university is our relationship to the Spokane community and an ever-growing base of supporters who follow collegiate athletics across the country and around the world. Without such support, many of the achievements of these past 24 years would not have been possible. Mike has never failed to acknowledge and express gratitude for the critical part the Spokane community plays in our success and for the many supporters, whether they be attendees, season ticket holders, alumni, or benefactors who have made all the difference for Gonzaga University. The work of championing the success of student athletes, coaches, and staff, developing and renewing facilities, monitoring and managing programs, engaging in league governance, working with the media, and continuously connecting with supporters and benefactors is both deeply gratifying but also incredibly intense. Over the course of the past 12 of his 24 years as AD, it has been my privilege to work together with Mike, his leadership team, and the athletics department in supporting their efforts to define new horizons and to pursue excellence. We as a university, and I personally, will always be grateful to Mike, to his wife, Dr. Linda Roth, and to their family for their commitment, leadership, service, and support of Gonzaga University and Gonzaga Athletics, which has been instrumental to all that has been achieved over these years. It is, therefore, my privilege and my honor to welcome to the podium my colleague, my friend, and Gonzaga's Director of Athletics, Mike Roth.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. McCullough. And as Thane has said, it's not just been his privilege, it's been mine to work with Thane over these last almost 13 years now. And today wouldn't have come about if it wasn't for Thane, and I'll speak to that in a moment here. I do want to thank all of you media folks for being here today and being able to cover this. I look around, and there's a lot of you that I've known for quite a while. John Blanchette and I go back to 1982. And as Chris Standiford likes to do with our staff, he always likes to ask how many of them were alive in times like 1982, just to make me feel good. So yourself, you know, I know I saw DP coming in somewhere here. You know, there's a lot of media folks in Spokane that go back a long way. Some of you I've gotten really close to over the years, especially Jim with the spokesman. We've spent a lot of time together, and we really, Gonzaga University, myself, Gonzaga Athletics, we appreciate the coverage that you continue to do. And we have Rob Curley, the editor of the Spokesman here. The coverage that we've gotten from you and able to push that out nationally has been tremendous. So thank you again for being here and being a part of today. I'm not going to go super long today just because I can go really long. And there's so many people to thank. But I do want to give you a little backstory here. As Thane mentioned, the job of being an athletic director can be all-encompassing. And years and years ago, it was maybe my second or third year as AD, so I'm in my early 40s, and I get a phone call, and I got constant phone calls and discussions, or I would make the phone calls to Jim Livingood. Jim Livingood, former AD at WSU, but then was at the time the AD at Arizona, very successful. And Jim and I go way, way back to when he was a high school basketball coach, and I actually was a very poor high school basketball player. And Jim told me one time, he said, Mike, you have to understand something. The more successful your programs are, the more being the AD is living in dog years. And I know Ken Anderson knows that, my good friend, Ken Anderson, our dean of the School of Business. And our longtime faculty athletic rep, we used to joke about that all the time. We used to joke about the fact he was tenured and I was day-to-day. But I laughed at Jim Livingood at the time. But then it wasn't within just a few years that I realized he was right. The more successful our programs became, the more expectations grew, and the harder the job becomes in that regard. But we wouldn't want it any other way. What we strive for as an athletic department is to be successful each and every day. But with that success, it does take a toll. And so it was actually 18 months ago that I sat down with Thane, and I told Thane, I got to be done. You know, it's time. It's time for me to move on. The job has taken its toll, and you know, others are ready. And, you know, Thane, if you've ever wondered if Dr. McCullough has a crystal ball, well, he does. Because this was January of 2020 that he and I had this conversation. And he said to me, Mike, I really need you to stay one more year. Really need you to stay one more year. Well, COVID didn't hit till March. And so he got a 2-month jump on COVID and convinced me to stay, and I committed, of course, and we made it through this year. And I'm going to be ever in debt to Thane for that, for allowing me this extra year, but actually convincing me to go this extra year. And people have said this COVID year had to be really, really hard. It had to be really difficult. And it was, but because of the success of the people standing there, our staff, our student athletes, we got some of the baseball team here after a historic run that the baseball team had this year. That's made it all worthwhile. And we all know that if it was easy, anybody would do it. And everybody is trying to do what we've done within Gonzaga Athletics. It's not easy, but the struggle is what makes the success so valuable, so emotionally worthwhile. And that's something that I'll take with me for sure forever, is that no one gave us anything. We had to work and work and work to get it done, and it was 100% we. You look just here at these trophies. I look out at our coaches and our staff. Guess what? I never called a timeout. I never called a hit and run. I never called a play. I never recruited a student athlete. What did I do, really, in relationship to putting us in position to win? I was just lucky enough to get all the right people in place. So, and that's all of our staff that's here and all of our staff that came before them, that I've just been lucky enough to be there. I've never been the smartest person in the room. When we were doing Zoom a lot this year, there was times where it was just myself and the dog at home doing Zoom, and I realized I wasn't the smartest person in the room still. So, but I know that. So it's been a fantastic run for us, and there's so many people to thank. All of our head coaches, for sure, all of our assistant coaches, our student athletes. It's just been so tremendous because, fellas, when we put up 3 fingers, what do we mean? We're going to win in the classroom. We're going to win in the community. We're going to win on the court, the water, the field, whatever the playing surface is. And this year we've done that. Last year we do it every year. We have shown college athletics that you don't have to take a back seat in anything. Winning in the sport doesn't have to be, you don't have to sacrifice academics to do that. You don't have to sacrifice having great young people represent you to do that. You can win in each and every way. And the same with our staff. And that's something I believe we have shown the collegiate world, is you can do that. You just have to care. You have to care about it from the president all the way down. And every one of our staff, they hear me say this all the time, every single person on our staff is part of winning. They have helped us and positioned us to win. And what they do every day is that. And that's the key for me walking away, too, is we have 3 simple goals, pillars. Chris and Shannon like to call them pillars now. I call them goals, but I'm leaving. But we only have one philosophy, and our philosophy is we will never be satisfied. We will always get better. We are working today to get better. This event is to get us better. And that's why I'm stepping down. That's why I'm walking away as athletic director. It's time for somebody else to move in and take this spot. And Thane's going to speak to that actually in just a moment, as soon as you can drag me away from the microphone here. Because for me, that's the most important thing, is the continued success. My legacy is not going to be what we did, but what we're going to do. Coach Few shared with his team a few years ago a picture, and I've kept it in my office, and it's a picture out of a car, sitting in like the driver's seat of the car. And you see this big giant windshield that looks out on this beautiful horizon that you're driving towards, in this little tiny rearview mirror. Well, that's who we are at Gonzaga Athletics. We pay attention to the past, but that past is just this little rearview mirror. We learn from the past, and we know what it is, and we acknowledge it, and we celebrate it. But our focus is on what's in front of us. And so my legacy as athletic director is going to be where we go starting September 1st, when I'm out the door. Cespedes. When I am gone, when I'm done, that is going to be the real question of, did I do my job? And have I put myself in that position, or put us? I'm going to say us a lot. Apologize. But if we, as Gonzaga Athletics, have done that, and we take a tremendous amount of pride in Gonzaga Athletics of talking about family and what that means to us. And when things are tough, we know what that means to us. And we have some tough things going on right now with with some of our staff, and we're standing with those staff people and helping and fighting and battling with them as we move forward. And because that's what makes us different. And we have wonderful facilities, both here at athletics and on campus, and some of the facilities, and there are still look across and see that beautiful science building that's going up that Thane is completing, the student center that he completed, McCarthy Athletic Center, Volker Center, Stevens Center, Steve Hertz Field. Coach, you know, we have tremendous facilities here, but it's not the facilities, it's the people. And the people are what had me coming back, and that's the part I'm going to miss the most, is being able to interact with you guys as staff every day and our student athletes. And you're going to have to find somebody to laugh at every day, because that's really important, that we get an opportunity to laugh. And a lot of times, so you guys know out there, that I'm usually the reason people laugh, because, hey, I grew up in Moses Lake. I say goofy stuff, you know, and but I think it's really important that we do that. So we'll have time once we're done here to do some individual things if you guys would like. There'll be opportunities, I'm sure, that we'll have to continue to talk about things. There's so many people for me to thank that I can't even start down that list right now, but I'd love to, because the list is really long, and you want to start to connect the dots of what if this didn't happen, or what if that person hadn't made that decision. You know, what if Coach Few had taken the Pitt assistant job instead of still, you know, staying here? You know, what if Lisa had not come back? You know, what if Mac had taken the Stanford job? You know, those are some of the what ifs questions. And I just am the luckiest man in the world, and I am the most blessed AD in history to be able to work at this great university with this group of great people, and I thank you all so much. So, Dr. McCullough, it's your turn again.
Thank you, Mike. And as was mentioned in the press release that we put out yesterday, wait, there's more. We are very fortunate indeed that Mike has graciously agreed, after a well-deserved break in the action, to return and to work with us in the continued development of relationships with supporters and with benefactors and those who have made our success possible. So once again, thank you so much, Mike, for all you have done, the tremendous job you've done in positioning Gonzaga Athletics for even more successful future to come. Thank you. Inevitable as change is, and it is, with it comes a certain amount of anxiety and concern about the future and how change will affect people and programs and our success going forward. Gonzaga Athletics today is a much more complex organization than it was even a decade ago, much less when Mike took the helm. So the challenge of deciding how to go about identifying a successor who is capable of leading this organization in its next phase is no small task. Over the past several months, I have been in very reflective conversations with key individuals, both within and outside of athletics, to include our governing board, discussing both the foundations of our success and how to build upon them, as well as places we yet want and need to go to improve, always keeping our students and their success at the center of our planning. After a great deal of discernment, I am pleased to share that we have identified an individual that, with broad consensus of support, has the talent, the knowledge, and the experience to take Gonzaga Athletics forward and to even higher levels of excellence. A member of the Gonzaga University community, for over 30 years and a member of the department for over 28, this individual has worked by Mike's side in building Gonzaga Athletics, both figuratively and quite literally, into the organization that we are today. He is very well known within Gonzaga Athletics and enjoys the confidence of colleagues both internally and externally. So it is that I am very pleased to announce the next Director of Athletics for Gonzaga University will be Chris Standiford. A native of Spokane and a double alumnus of Gonzaga University, having earned both his Bachelor of Arts in History and his Master's in Athletics Administration from Gonzaga University. Following his hire in 1993 as Gonzaga's Assistant Martin Center Director, Chris managed facilities and game operations for all events involving athletic department facilities. Since then, he has played a key role in every facility addition to Gonzaga Athletics. In September 2006, he was promoted to Senior Associate Athletic Director, and in 2009 was given oversight and leadership of GU's external operations, including fundraising and revenue generation for the athletic department. Chris is also responsible for the department's relationship with Gonzaga Sports Properties, GU's multimedia rights holder, and locally based Learfield IMG college team. He has served as Deputy Director of Athletics and Chief Operating Officer since 2015. He has also served on the NC2A Division I Women's Rowing Selection Committee and currently serves on the NC2A Baseball Rules Committee. In January 2021, Chris was named a top Assistant Athletic Director by Silver Waves Media. We are confident that Gonzaga Athletics will reach new heights under Chris' leadership as AD, just as it has enjoyed the benefit of his committed labors, leadership, and perspective within the department over the course of nearly 30 years. The essential role he has played within Gonzaga Athletics over many years has been a key part of our success, and it has earned him the trust of our colleagues, our coaches, staff, students, and supporters. Chris, I am very grateful for your willingness to serve in this role and look forward to working together with you in the coming months and years. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Chris Standiford to the podium.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Dr. McCullough, thank you very much. I could not be more excited to be standing here today and thrilled that I have the confidence of you, and I can't believe that 31 years has really gone by, other than Mike's a lot older than I am, so that's okay. The reality is Gonzaga Athletics is an incredibly successful and important part of the university that takes a lot of leadership. It takes a lot of leadership that Mike has demonstrated over the years. It's taken a lot of support and leadership from the President's office and from all the folks on campus. I definitely understand my role is to continue that in that tradition and in the spirit of which I'm inheriting what's come before us. I also want to thank Mike Roth, singularly the most influential person not related to me in my life. I'm going to try not to be emotional about it, but what you've done for me, Mike, has been formative at every level, professionally for sure, but most importantly personally. I've had more growth I've changed as a person for the better under your friendship and your mentorship, and I'm forever grateful. Thank you. To our coaches, our student athletes, our staff, you guys are awesome, and it's the only reason I'm standing here with any sense of comfort or ease is because your trust and your belief in what we do and in me is everything. And it's also something that I'll never take for granted. It is an incredibly important part of leadership and one that I will earn every day. I see our coaches as the most important part of the educational process that is going to impact our student athletes. You bring them here, you foster their experience. We have tremendous connection and collaboration with everyone on campus. Our talented faculty, our colleagues in student development, they impact all of our students. But as far as our student athletes go, the coaches, you are the singularly most influential person in their experience here, and thank you for all the great work that you do. And for the people that support them, we have a tremendous staff. Student Athlete Support Services isn't what we call it anymore, but I keep saying it because I'm old. Sorry, Shannon. But the services that we provide to our student athletes through health and wellness and through academic support and everything are really at the genesis of what makes Gonzaga special. Makes our student athletes well supported so they can accomplish the great things that they do. I'm incredibly proud to be associated with every one of them and everything that they've accomplished. I'm also, my family's not here today. They're working, and unlike Mike Roth, I'm going to make sure that I remember to acknowledge them and thank them. Sorry, Mike. He gets to come back and finish that story. To my wife, Julie, who has been a pillar of support my whole life, or our whole marriage, feels like my whole life. I'm indebted to it. I can't even speak to it. Thank you. My children, similarly, they are the pride of my life, and I'm eternally grateful for who they are, who they are going to be, and I'm also grateful for Gonzaga in that regard, because my parents are both Gonzaga grads. My wife is a Gonzaga grad. One of my children is, the other one's going to be, and the other one doesn't even know it yet. And the influence that this place has had on our lives has been monumental, and it's been transformative, and I really hope that all of our students and all of our staff understand how important that is. I know they do, and to be associated with that is incredibly prideful. I also want to thank Shannon Strahl, who is graciously accepted the role of Deputy Athletic Director, because everybody's confidence in me is rooted in the confidence in us. I'll never reach the benchmark of Mike Roth in humility, but I will try to recognize the fact that what makes Gonzaga great is the people, and what makes Gonzaga athletics great is the people that are here. And I can't tell you how thrilled and how confident I am in our future because of you. And that is truly what drives Gonzaga's winning. It's the people, it's the talented coaches, it's the great student athletes, it's the wonderful leadership and support we get from our campus. And ultimately, I'm just ready to go. I'm so excited. I don't even know how else to finish this up other than to say thank you. Appreciate everybody's patience with me in my rambling thoughts here a little bit. Unlike Mike, though, I get to turn. I thought I was going to have to conclude, but I don't have to now because Mike's going to come back up and finish this thing off. So thank you very much.
So just a couple closing remarks. Again, I want to thank Dr. McCullough for that move, for naming Chris as AD, Chris naming Shannon as Deputy AD. That tops off my career. That gives me such a level of confidence of where we're going to go. Where we are going to go after I'm done here, and that's so important. I've spent more than half of my life at Gonzaga University, and I have watched so many of our staff, a lot of our staff, play at Gonzaga. Some even play at other schools. I've watched so many of our student athletes that are now sons and daughters of former student athletes that are here. I've watched our staff develop into families where they meet their spouse and they start to have families, whatever might be the case. I've watched so many people grow. It's been so fantastic. It's been so rewarding in that. And then when you think about the length of service that people have here at Gonzaga, that have other opportunities to go other places and turn them down, and I mentioned that a little bit earlier, that tells you something about how special this place is. And again, I want to thank you for that. Now, as Thane mentioned earlier, and then Chris mentioned, my wife Linda is here. A lot of people don't believe she actually exists because most people have never seen her or met her on our staff, but Linda is here. She's standing there next to Chuck Murphy. So thank you for being here. And Linda, I introduced her a few minutes ago to the West Coast Conference staff on Zoom. We've had West Coast Conference meetings all morning, and she walked in, and I introduced her. And Connie Hurlbut, who is one of the deputy commissioners of the league, said, "Can you turn around, Linda, so we can see your wings?" Because they know dealing with me for going on what will be 38 years this summer is it takes a saint to be able to do that, that's for sure. So thank you so much, my dear. And just in concluding thoughts, again, there's so many people to thank, from the Gonzaga cabinet that Thane has made me part of for a number of years, Chuck Murphy, who I reported to for a number of years. Thane mentioned Harry Sladich. I wouldn't be here without Harry, and how important Harry has been and will continue to be, even though he's not with us anymore, in the history of Gonzaga University. I was blessed to be here when we had a lot more Jesuits on campus, because there were more Jesuits around, and got to experience some of the great Jesuits of all time, like Father Dussault and Father Reginbald and Father Coughlin. But that's that rearview mirror piece. The future lies right over there with college athletics, Chris and Shannon, and right there with Dr. McCullough. And the sky's the limit. We are going to continue to excel. We're not satisfied with where we're at right now. We can get better each and every day. So thank you all for being here. Again, Chris and Dr. McCullough are going to be here to take any individual questions you might want. And anything else, Mr. Johnson? I'm half deaf now, mostly because I've been ignoring Chris for all these years. Coaches will stick around too if you want to have some time with some of our coaches too. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dr. McCullough. Congratulations to Chris Standiford, the new athletic director at Gonzaga University. Dane. You get in the middle and you just stand together.
You want to have photos?
Photos.
Oh,
okay. The three of us. Thank you again.